Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or guys. My name is Aliou Toure, an introduction. I am introducing myself as a Ccna lecturer for Ccna Institute of Technology. So part of our efforts, like we were informed, we are all informed because of the pandemic that is in town or in the world that restricts people from going in for physical classes or on-site classes. So therefore, part of our efforts to make sure that students are put in place and that classes are ongoing using today's technology. So basically, my side, what I'll put you through is the Ccna routing and switching. It's unfortunate that we could not meet before we start, unfortunately. So, but I was supposed to do this orientation with you guys the first day that you will come here, but unfortunately we are unable to have that. So what where I would start from is this is Ccna Institute of Technology, and once again I am Aliou Toure, and I'll be taking you through this CCNA course online until we resume on site. So CCNA is a course that train network engineers and network professionals, those that want a career in networking, using the Cisco Networking Academy. You would see that some other people would do Cisco using professional trainings, but here we're doing the academic course that will take you for absolutely 6 months, or sometimes it can be less than 6 months depending on our understanding of the course and how fast we are to understand the lessons. This is your CCNA routing and switching, and we use this platform that is a Cisco networking platform to be able to do our exams and log in here to be able to take our resources. So I'll bring you here later on in my next video to show you how to use this platform, how to log in and create your account. So I'll be creating your account. So that's why I asked for your email addresses the last time on the WhatsApp group. So I hope all of you guys are going to bring in your WhatsApp, your email addresses so I can create your account. Please indicate your full names when you are sending in your email address. So that is the CCNA Routing and Switching Academy. You have so many courses that are available here. So I'll take you through this platform later on. I just introduced you to the CCNA Networking Academy. So we go to CCNA. That is the networking itself. So Cisco is a platform that you have from entry level down to architectural level. So we start here combining the entry level and the associate level together at the same time within the course of 6 months. So, but we are not offering the professional, that is CCNP. We are not offering CCIE, that is expert level, and the architect level CCIA. So we are only providing training on the CCNA routing and switching, that is Cisco certified network associate, that is routing and switching certification, that requires you to go through the CCENT1 and CCENT2 courses. So we have this CCNA in different modules. So I'll take you through those different modules so that you can understand that this CCNA, you have it in a form of a pyramid, and we start from entry level, that is module 1 and 2, that is introduction to routing and switching essential. Then if you complete those 2 levels, then you move to the 3rd and the 4th level, that is the scaling networks and connecting networks, and do your exam online. You have your CCNA exam done, and you are a CCNA. Throughout the world that you take this document, you are recommended as a CCNA. So basically this is what the environment is like with CCNA platform. So I'll take you through an introduction of the CCNA routing and switching. So we have the CCNA, let me just do that. CCNA R and S. So we call it CCNA R and S. The R stands for routing and the S stands for switching. So that is the CCNA routing and switching. And this routing and switching, we have it in 4 different modules. So we have 4 modules, and we have to complete all these 4 modules comprising of ITN, that is Introduction to Networking, it should be not INT but ITN, Introduction to Networks, that is module 1, and we have routing and switching essential, that is RSE, routing and switching essential, that is module 2, and module 3 is SC, that is scaling networks. So SCN, scaling networks, and there is semester, you can call it semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, or you can call it module 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one is connecting networks. So these are the 4 modules that we have to complete during the course of the 6 months. So during these courses, you are to do, or you are expected to take 10 chapter exams, for ITN, and you're going to also do plus one final exam at the end of every module. So one final exam plus a skills exam that follows. So you will see that every semester we are going to do 10 chapters. Like this semester we are going to do 10 chapters that we're going to cover, and each chapter we are expected to do a chapter exam. That's more like a quiz, not very vital, but the final exam right here for each module, end of module, is very important, because this is what warrants you to have your certificate from Cisco. But if you fail this, you may have a certificate, but you will not have a letter that guarantees that you have done this final exam and have a pass mark. And then you are going to have a skills assessment that will also be set forth by Cisco, and I'll be giving it to you on site. And if you finish doing this, I'll mark it, and if you have the maximum point or the pass score, you will have a recommendation from the lecturer right here. You cannot have a recommendation letter if you fail this skills assessment for each end of semester. So a similar thing applies to the routing and switching. We'll have 10 chapters, one final exam, and one skills assessment. And also the same thing applies to scaling networks. For scaling networks, we will have 9 chapters instead of 10, and we'll have one final exam and one skills exam. And connecting networks will have 8 chapters instead of 9 and 10, and we'll have one final exam and one skills exam. So that's a hectic exam settles that you have, but it's very easy for you to do if you pay attention to what you're doing. So basically, what is the pass mark for these exams is 75%. So each exam that you will attempt, you will have to make sure that you have at least 75%, otherwise you failed. But the chapter exams, you have 3 attempts that you can do, that I can type it, 3 attempts that you can do, and if you fail all these 3 attempts, you may not have any other option, but you'll do the exam. If you are unable to reach or meet this requirement of 75%, you can redo and redo until 3 times. So that is for chapter exams. For the final exams, you instead of 3 attempts, you are given 2 chances for each final exam. If you do once, you are unable to meet this requirement 75%, you are expected to take 1 more. And the skills exam also is 2 attempts for each semester. So basically, that is what I have to introduce to you, 4 modules, and the modules are named this way: Introduction to Networks, Module 2, Routing and Switching Essential, Module 3, or Semester 3, you can call it Scaling Networks and Connecting Networks. So basically, these are the 4 modules that you will have to go through, and as soon as you finish this course with us, you are going to go here with 4 certificates. I'll call it 4 certificates, 4 letters that, if you don't have those letters, means you do not pass the final exam. So any final exam that you do 2 attempts and fail, you will not have a letter for that certificate. Means the certificate is totally invalid, because the certificate without a letter is invalid, and plus 1 recommendation letter. So 1 recommendation, sorry about that, 1 recommendation letter. So it means you are going out here with 9 documents. But what I would also advise you is that at the end of this CCNA, what you can do is to make sure that you attempt your CCNA license exam. that this license exam is international license exam that you would do, and as soon as you finish your 6-month course, you just have to take some time and then read and make sure you prepare yourself and pay for the exam. The advantages of using or doing this Ccna Routing and Switching Academy is that when you're doing this license exam, you would pay, let's say for instance, $350 to do this license exam. $350. That is what you would do. You would have to pay to do this exam. But the advantage of using this Ccna Routing and Switching Academy is that if you pass this first assessment, let's say first attempt of semester 2 or module 2, you are given some percentage voucher that they will deduct for you, that you have a discount rate of maybe 40 or 60% depending on the promotion time. And if you also pass this connecting network, that is this module 2 and module 4, if you pass these and this first attempt having the maximum or this pass score of 75%, you will have a discount here of let's say for instance a discount of 40%. Okay, a discount of 40% is a lot. It's a whole lot of money that you can save yourself. So that's why it is advantageous to do this routing and switching academy with an institution like Quantum Net Institute of Technology. So basically that is a roundup of the Ccna. And also, what do we expect to learn from this Ccna is that first I will take you through. So your license exam consists of these modules. So you have the network fundamentals. That is the network fundamentals that will take 15% of the 100% that you are going to get for your exam. So you are going to cover the OSI layers, and you will also discuss about the network security tools and network access tools. And we describe the cloud computing resources and cloud network environment. We'll talk about the virtualized service networks, and we'll compare and contrast collapsed networks. So we'll talk about network topologies in this, and also we talk about network connectivity and troubleshooting methodologies. And we'll also discuss about these things, and network IP addressing would all be discussed, and you will understand IP address. So your Ccna consists that you will have to understand all of these things before the end of the course. That is to compare and contrast IP version 4, version 6, and the IP version 4 address type, unicast, multicast, and broadcast addresses. And then we'll talk about IP version 6 here, and we compare the IP version 6 address type. So from there we move to the switching, LAN switch technologies. There we'll learn about switches and the switching concept, and we'll understand all these things, MAC addressing and frame switching and all that. We'll understand about data access and VLANs device. We have to talk about virtualized LANs, and we will talk about inter-switch connectivity, that is the VDPs and so on. So we'll talk about these spanning tree protocols. Everything that we have here, we'll talk about it, and we make sure that we complete all these. Then we have routing technologies. Here we'll talk about the routing technologies and the routing protocols, and all this is part of the components of the routing table. So we'll talk about all these routing table components, and we'll talk about the inter-VLAN routing. So this is basically the topics that are involved out of the syllabus of the Ccna Routing and Switching, which we're going to talk about all the routing protocols from EIGRP, OSPF, ISIS, PGP, and RAPE routing, static routing protocols. We're going to talk about all of them. So also we'll have one technologies that we'll talk about. That is, we'll talk about PPP, point-to-point protocols, MPLS, MLPPP, and WAN interfaces. And we'll also talk about PPPoE. We'll discuss the GRE, and we'll also talk about VPNs here before we finish. So it includes also MPLS is also discovered and is also discussed in our Ccna here. So all these are courses that we have to cover. Quality of service concepts will also be covered, and we'll talk about some voice configurations, and we'll discuss about voice. So all these are included in our Ccna, and we'll talk about NATing with IP version 4, and we go to the sixth part is infrastructure security, and these are things that we'll discuss here: MAC address floating and static and security controls for all these things. And we'll describe the common layer threat mitigation techniques, A lot of things that we will talk about. This CCNA and infrastructure management is the seventh option, so perhaps it's the last one. So there we'll talk about network management and network monitoring, and also this part was part of the CCNA, sorry, the CCNP, and now it's here. It is brought in on CCNA, that is the service level agreement, IP service level agreement. We will talk about this when we come to talk about redundancy in WAN technology or WAN topologies. So basically, this is your CCNA, and that is the a quick rundown of your CCNA, and this is what is involved. And basically, I will also take you through this simulation tool, that is the packet tracer, and that will come later. I will take a video that I will describe this packet tracer and explain it to you guys, so you can know how to use this packet tracer. So that will come in our subsequent videos. So that's it. And like I said, that is your CCNA routing and switching certification. So you have this CCNT, that is the first module. That is when you have semester 1 and semester 2 combined, you do that exam. So your CCNA exam, like I said, you can put it in two parts. You can do the CCNA license exam at once, or you can put it into two, that is ICND 1 and ICND 2, that is this. So you can put the CCNA exam, doing the CCNA exam directly, CCNA direct, or you can put the CCNA in two formats, that is ICND 1 and ICND 2. So that's it. So you can put these two. So if you do these two exams and then combine, you have a CCNA, or you can just ignore these two exams, but you just want to divide the exam into two so you can reduce the load. But if you think you're good enough, you can just go straight do CCNA directly. So guys, I will see you in my next video, introducing CCNA chapter 1, and I'll also introduce to you how to log in to your account and also how to use the CCNA packet tracer. So that is our CCNA routing and switching. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.